click that. Or not. Refresh it. Huh. Hey.
There we are. Okay.
Hey, the Newmonts are trying something new.
Well, hello there. It is Tuesday night, 7 o'clock in Los Angeles, and welcome to Mainstream Metaphysics. And of course, as over the past year and a half, I'm Nick Newmont, and this is
Audrey Newmont.
And we are coming live from the Newmont Center in Agora Hills, as we have, for quite some time.
A year and what?
Well, it was October of 2019 when we started the show, and we are continuing on. And obviously some changes, and I think it's good to say, for at least for the moment, we are taking a break from LA Talk Radio, and they are doing some reorganizing, and so we will revisit them as they move into hopefully new studio space and so on and so forth. And had a very, very nice talk with Sam Hassan, who is the owner of LA Talk Radio. So we're very grateful to Sam and Ronan, the producer, and the time that we've been there. And for now, we are, Audrey's got some, things up her sleeve in terms of other venues of marketing.
We're going to end up on Rumble. We're going to be on BitChute. We're going to be continuing with our YouTube station, so you'll be able to see our videos in all these places, and we're just in the process of getting it all together. So we're really happy to have you guys all join us here for now on Facebook Live. And hi Vanessa, hi Carla, good
Hello.
To see you guys.
Yeah, and we really appreciate those of you who have been watching us, whether on our Facebook pages or on LA Talk Radio for the past year and a half.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate the loyalty. As we always talk about events coming up, this coming Saturday we have the vision board class that we're presenting. And if you've never made a vision board, I have to tell you how much fun that is. You really get to be like a kindergarten kid, and you sit down with a board, and we bring out magazines, and you cut out, inspiring words and pictures of things that you like to attain. And it really is about pie in the sky, going after what you want. And in my lifetime, I've done several vision boards, and they have been mega productive. Mm-hmm. And this is a nice follow-up. The vision board class is a nice follow-up. Hi, Patrice.
Hey, Patrice.
For those who took the Focus on Success class, and how productive that's been.
Right.
And by the way, speaking of Focus on Success, our guest next week is fellow hypnotherapist and HMI alum Michelle Guzzi.
She's amazing. So definitely join us next week. And speaking of events, you've got your vision board workshop. We've got Michelle Guzzi coming on next week. And I have started my mainstream, or not this is Mainstream Metaphysics. I've started my conscious mind tripping that is on Thursday nights from 7 to 8:30. And it is on a Zoom session. So I'm going to be posting that one coming up soon. So you'll see that coming up on my Facebook page and the website. So we've got a whole bunch of new things that are coming up. And isn't Alexandra coming as Golden Arrow?
Well, we have to solidify a date. So today,
I think I saw something come through where she said she's able on a certain night. So it's coming up.
Well, I didn't see a message come back from her, but I did talk to Alexandra this morning, and she's currently in Las Vegas shopping for her store up in Lake Arrowhead. And she definitely is looking at, first thing is in May, and I believe it's going to be the Sunday after Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it is, and that's like the 16th of May.
So we're going to have a live event with her. That's what it is.
So that will be
Hey, Jen.
Merlin and Golden Arrow in one of those mega events, where it's the first part is Golden Arrow channeling. She leaves, Merlin comes in and then leaves, and then Golden Arrow and Merlin come back with Alexandra and myself.
Those are powerful days.
Oh, they're incredible, and people leave. You can see how people leave really affected
right.
by that. I mean, it really raises the roof, when we have that. And yes, and Alexandra will be on the show again with Golden Arrow in May. So we have that. I believe that next week it's Michelle Gezzi. The week after that, I believe Dr. Kimberly Bennett is coming back on. And
Yay.
Kimberly is chomping at the bit, because when you have events like this morning where, one of the major drug companies is saying they're pulling back on the vaccine, and you know that if you are friends on Facebook with Dr. Bennett or follow our threads, we repost what she posts. She has been very spot on about her observations about it, not opinions, her observations based on scientific reality.
And I'm just going to say, we've also been talking today, I don't know if you were here with me, but talking with Dr. McGuire, and there's been a lot of his clients that have had various things that have been going on with that as well. So just going to say, when Kimberly's on, make sure that you are there. There's a lot of good information that she's sharing.
Right.
And I forgot to mention, on Conscious Mind Tripping on Thursday, I'm going to be having Lisa White join me again. So
wonderful.
For those of you that want to be a part of it, look on Meetup or on Newmont Center on Facebook, or go to newmontcenter.net or .com, or is it net? newmontcenter.net. And you'll see our calendar page, so you can look there for all information.
And by the way, to go back, because we don't have the green screen behind us tonight, we have to grab that piece of dioptase, from the group room, because remember it looked blue on
I'll
camera?
go get it.
So tonight also, and for my advanced metaphysical students, on Saturday, I believe it's May 22nd, we are going to do the class on DNA and chakra cloning, and that is mind-blowing. And for the advanced students, you do want to be in on that, because I teach that class like once every 3 years. So here comes Audrey.
Are we stuck?
Are we stuck?
Are you guys seeing us okay? Because I'm looking there and it's not going. Oh, it was just your computer.
Yep.
All right, you show the dioptase and I'll show the one I like.
All right, so when we had the green screen behind us, when we were talking about crystals, the beautiful emerald colored dioptase looked blue. And so here is the dioptase, and put it in both cameras. I mean, this is incredible. And it's so heart-lifting and heart-warming.
Hi, Sherry.
Yeah, there's Sherry Clark.
Nice to have you join us. We haven't seen you in person in forever.
So this is one of the best heart stones there is, and we refer to it as a fairy stone because it brings the lightness.
Right there.
Yes, so you can see it really is like emeralds. That it's not blue as the camera showed, in front of the green screen. And I know it's magnificent. Okay, now you're going to show the labradorite.
I love labradorite. And I don't know if you can see this well enough. Let's see. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous?
Yeah, it's magnificent.
Oh, you can see the light in there. Isn't that beautiful? Anyway, we just wanted to show you these two pieces in particular because last week that green screen didn't show them off very well.
Like Beth Cola says she loves hers. Yeah. Yes, I know. It's amazing. Yeah, Beth got a beautiful piece.
So here's the thing, you guys. If you are in there, we can see your comments. So if you have any questions or if you want a reading on anything in particular, Nick is going to start. And as he's doing it, we're going to talk a little bit about tarot readings and what that is. So we're going to be getting a smidge of a lesson on what tarot looks like and then why it's important to do these things occasionally, because we'll do it occasionally just to get some kind of feel for things.
Oh, sure we do. and it's actually fun to do the cards because
It is fun. It's like a game.
yeah, but it's not a game because the cards are real and the cards are very positive, and everything is left up to the interpretation of the use of the cards, and and some of the people that watching, and have actually studied, like Sherry has actually studied with me, yeah. So we do have a question. So Jennifer is asking about, I'd love to know about money and selling my art. Will it pick up? And will you be able to make a living from it? Okay. So when I do a general like this, I'm not asking so much, will it so much. I do a general, which is a Celtic cross, which shows the current circumstance, the distant past, the recent past, the seeker's attitude on it, and then events moving forward. Mm-hmm. Okay? And so we will just allow Spirit to work. Okay, Jennifer. So the first card out is the Sun, which means that this is a time of new beginnings and feeling refreshed. All right? So that's good. And also in the Sun card, there is a baby on the white horse. Now, the white horse is also in the Death card. So in other words, the white horse means that is, what's old and done is now moving into new. And of course, there is a baby on the horse, which means it is a new beginning. Something is rebirthed. All right, then covering it is fascinating. The card that covers the Sun is the Moon. And the Moon card, hi Gloria, the Moon card
Hello.
means that the information that she's seeking really is covered or secretive, or there just isn't an answer at the moment. All right? So in other words, there's a new beginning, but we don't know what kind of new beginning. In the distant past, the card that comes up is the Page of Wands. And this means that in the past, there has been a resurgence or a new passion or news that is very uplifting. Now, in the recent past, we have the Six of Pentacles. Now, Pentacles are always about money, all right? But in this card, you can see someone giving to people. Now, this means recently for Jennifer that on one hand, money's coming in one hand and out the other, having to balance the budget. And by the same token, that Six of Pentacles can be sort of like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Okay? Now, in Jennifer's attitude, she's got the Three of Cups, which is a card of celebration. And when you see the Three of Cups, that means that in her attitude, she's excited, she wants to celebrate. All right?
Good attitude, Jen.
In the next card that comes out is the immediate future, or what's referred to a meeting or something that's going to come up that's going to have sort of a kick to this. Oh, the Seven of Cups. Now, the Seven of Cups have a lot of different things in each cup, which means that there's need for focus. Jennifer, you have to figure out soon what it is that you want and set intentions. Otherwise, the Seven of Cups becomes confusion. And the cups represent emotions. So this means that there's a lot of mixed emotions here. Okay?
So setting those intentions and be very clear on what you do want.
Now, in her psyche, okay, the Four of Wands means stability at home, security, stability at work. All right? In the environment, the next card is other people's influence on the matter. And the Hanged Man card means grace under fire or be patient. So there are things that are coming, but you have to be patient with the process. All right? Now, the next card is, this position is called Hopes and Fears. Well, it's the Ten of Cups, which is a great happiness card. It's emotional fulfillment. But for fulfillment, you have to ask yourself, and this is to Jennifer, you're wanting fulfillment, but what is it you're afraid of in this? Exposure, exposure is, to most people that are creative, they want exposure. But you have to ask yourself, what is it that you don't want exposed? Okay?
So think about that with what you're doing in... Oop, wait a minute. What did I just do? Oops. Oops. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Oh. Hold on.
There we go.
Ha. Sorry about that. Trying to get rid of we have to turn off those announcements for next time.
Okay, but that wasn't bothering me. Now, in the outcome, we have the Nine of Cups, which is happiness, but this is also the Get Your Wish card. So in other words, you have to get past what it is that you're afraid of, or whatever you look at, what your fear of success is. Because this comes out as you get your wish. So for the time being, balance your budget, do what you need to do. But this does come out quite nicely for you.
That's good news.
But like whenever you see the Hanged Man in a reading, that's that P word that people don't like, patience.
Yeah. So keep your attention on the intention while you're being patient and having faith.
Exactly. And then, while we're waiting, we clear the deck.
Yeah. So let's ask a question of a general for the United States.
Okay, so what I'll do is focus on our country, and I'll do a Celtic. Jennifer is writing, thank you so much. It's true patience. It's not my virtue.
It's now.
Yeah, that's funny.
We're creating it now.
All right, so we're going to focus our attention on this country, and we'll do a general Celtic cross on it and see what comes out.
So we can still look at your remarks. So if you all have any other questions, if you've got something about something maybe even other than yourself, if you've got any questions that we can ask, tonight's the night for fun.
Okay, so the first thing is, well, don't know that. They don't know what you're saying. Audrey. All right.
This is about our country. Hello.
All right, the Tower card. All right. So this is where, as they used to say on MASH, the spit hits the spam. All right. Back in the days of censorship, we couldn't say it the other way. All right. So this is really important, and I'll tell you why. Because the Tower card represents, the going back to the pain of 9/11. All right. That is not healed. All right. And I have to tell you that those of you that have studied numerology with me, and there's a bunch of you out there,
wow.
When I go back to when George W. Bush, Beth, hold your question. I see you. When Bush was elected, and again, I know everybody's birthday, by design, and he was elected in 2000, and it was his birthday of 2001, and he is born July, patience, right, Beth? He's born July 6th, and so when you do the numerology, and 2001, 2001 is 3, 7 and 6 is 13, and 3 is 16. Well, 16 is the number of the Tower card. And so when I was writing my book proposal, all right, when I was working with Linda Sievertson, who is a wonderful proposal writer, I said, not knowing, that when after Bush's birthday in July, and that was 2001, we would witness the explosion in the tower. I said that. And 2 months after his birthday, what literally happened in New York?
Right.
9/11 hit the towers. And so there is a very deep connection between tarot, numerology, and astrology. Mm-hmm. And so when I see the Tower card come up and we're asking about, the conditions in the United States, this has to do with, the Tower card has to do with the conflict of egos, questioning authority, and blowing the roof off. But this also tells me that something, card number 16, 1/6/7, means that there is some kind of healing change that's going to come about from this upheaval.
Yay.
All right? But it's like, that's a very profound card to come out right out of the gates,
right?
In asking about this country. Now, covering it, we have the Five of Swords. Now, fives in the tarot are generically worry cards. And swords are air, which means things are up in your mind. And this card, you can see how the people are sort of, two people are walking away, the swords are dropped on the ground, and the person standing there has three of the swords. So this is a victoryless battle. There's no winners in this, all right? And it's worry over nothing, basically. Now, in the distant past, what we have is the eight of Pentacles, which means this is rebuilding, mastering things and rebuilding, and this would be distant, so this would go back to when President Trump was still in office. Now, in the recent past, we have the Six of Pentacles, which is that card that came up in Jennifer's reading, where money is coming in one hand and going out the other. And so what this is, this card represents a helping hand. So this means that process was started to get money back in the hands of people, in terms of the stimulus checks, SBA, all of that. Now, here we go. Up on top, we have the Six of Cups. And so in the sort of the attitude of the people, this has to do with getting back to the way things used to be, okay? All right. Now, in the immediate future, now we have a 5 again, now the Five of Cups. And so when you look in this card, the Five of Cups, you can see 3 cups that are spilled and then 2 still standing, but the person there in black has their head down. Black in the card means that they're depressed, they're down. So this is the crying over spilled milk card. So when you see this card, it means you are supposed to look at what you have, not what you don't have or what you've lost. In the psyche of the people, we have the Nine of Swords, the Nightmare card. Okay,
and that is so apropos.
I mean, it's fear.
Yes.
I mean, this is the fear card. This is intimidation by what's in your mind and in your dreams, as opposed to reality. But see, what people don't know about this card, the blanket is very hard to see. The blanket, the security blanket, the comfort, so to speak, has symbols in it that are flowers, plus the signs of the zodiac. So if this person would pay attention to what's comforting them and what's in the stars, as opposed to what's in their mind and hanging over their head, they would feel better, all right?
That's
because
really
you can
important.
see, they don't want to look, all right? It's the Nightmare card.
So this is, again, when I'm saying that we're looking at why do we do tarot, what is that purpose behind it? There's a part of it for seeing what's hidden, and then there's another purpose of it when we are worrying, because to be clear, I was just watching something today that I'm probably going to post tomorrow, and it was talking about these statistics of the people in the country during this period of COVID, how many people have really had some serious mental issues. I've had people call me and it's like all the therapists that they've been referred to, are booked up. I mean, all the therapists that we know, it's like people are super busy with that because there has been such a complete shift of our homeostasis, and people are scared. So there is that part of it where you focus on what you can know and focus on what you can do and not let your mind go down the rails, to a possibility.
Okay.
Keep very present.
Right. And this card has a lot to do with, cognitive dissonance.
Yep.
Head in the sand. All right. So now outside influences. All right. I know. So now we have the Seven of Pentacles. All right. So with the Seven of Pentacles, you see all the fruit that's on the vine, but this isn't ready to be picked yet. There's one on the ground, okay? And that one is ready to go, but there's more to come. So in other words, coming from the outside, what's dribbling down, there's more, all right? There's 6 times more than what's already come, all right? So there's a 6-fold improvement in the hopes and fears of the people in the country, all right? The Fool, a new journey. Oh, you mean we have to start over again? And then the other factions going, oh, we get to start over again. All right? So this is important because when you study Tarot, the Fool is the first card. Okay? It's the concept. See, it's number 0. It's the first card. It's hard to see that, but that's a 0. That's at the top. And 0 represents, in some symbology, God, the eternal ring, the all or none. And so the Fool card, setting out in a new journey, is God incarnate into man. Okay? All right? And see, the sun is white up there. The sky is yellow, which is hope, and the sun is white. Okay? So that's divine light. That's shining down on man as God has come into man.
And what is that position?
It's the 0 card, the Fool.
No, I mean here.
Oh, that's hopes and fears.
All right. That's actually an excellent card for that position, right?
Right. Exactly. All right. And now in the outcome, okay, that was the King of Swords. All right. Now, this is really important because the King of Swords is unquestioned leadership. Now, what that would say is that would be what's coming from current leadership. And the King of Swords is authoritarian, and there is, in other words, the King of Swords is saying that, this is how it is, end of story, all right? So as we move toward this, move through this, and we get to the King of Swords, we have to be very aware and cognizant of what authority is telling us, okay? Because that doesn't say the King of Swords isn't good or it's bad. The King of Swords just cuts through the crap, all right? So we have to see how this comes out. But in other words, that's authority, taking charge. So there is some form with the Tower card starting the reading and the Fool and the hopes and fears. I would say that there is another new beginning in this country that people just aren't seeing yet, that we haven't seen yet.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. All right.
So you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, there's a lot of, let's say it like this. There's a lot of surprises to come that no one is going to see coming. That's the best way to analyze this reading.
That's a big, big deal.
Yep, especially with the Tower card. Because if there are anyone involved that where their ego is sort of going to their head, they will find out that's not a good way to approach things. There was a question back a little bit that Beth asked, and that had to do with a sale on a house. She's a realtor up in Portland.
So would this call for another kind of spread? So the Celtic Cross was the spread that he's already done. And wouldn't that cause for maybe that?
No, because she's not really asking if it's a good idea to do something and when. So we'll use the Celtic Cross. Mm-hmm. But if someone wrote in and said, should I change jobs? Should I buy this house? Should I, date this other person? Then we would use that pyramid spread. And I would like to do that.
So somebody out there ask a question that's like that. Should I do this, or something along those lines? That kind of a question. And we'll move it over into that pyramid cross too.
Pyramid spread.
Pyramid spread.
Different. Okay. Here we go. And
so this is for Beth Cola.
Yep. All right. So we're going to take a look at what things look like in Beth's.
Yes, Kim, we're in a new look. We're in a new thing. All right, here's for Beth.
All right. So the first thing, this is really good for Beth because we have the Knight of Pentacles, and Pentacles represent money. And should I date this new man? Yeah. And the question is, and is he watching? All right, Beth. There's Beth. So we've got the Knight of Pentacles, and the Knight is either a moderately aged man, or if it's not referencing a man, then the Knights represent events. And you can see the way he has his hand on the disc or the pentacle that, he's offering. So there is an offer here, the way he's going like this.
That's good.
It is good. Then covering it, oh my God.
Oh, you're going to love this.
We have the 10 of Cups, which is the family celebrating. And see the house in the background there?
Beth, it's looking really good.
Okay. I I don't even have to throw more cards. This is definitive, yes. In the distance, in the distant past, we have the Knight of Swords, which is people coming around that don't really make good on it. They kind of throw caution to the wind. And then we have, in the recent past, we have the Four of Pentacles. Beth, this is you. You're doing well, okay? It's not an overabundance, but you're doing well. Yes, big yay. And in your attitude, you have the Five of Swords, which means in doing well, you still worry at times. Aren't you doing your mental bank, Beth? I mean, come on. All right. And then in the future...
It couldn't get better.
We have the Ace of Pentacles, which is new money, and the hand of God coming out of the cloud with the money.
You can literally stop there.
Yeah, we can stop there because this is very, very good.
Does that make you happy, Beth? Huh? Yes, sir.
Well, she's answering yes, sir, to the mental bank. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Beth, I mean, this is going to do very well. So...
very nice.
Congratulations in advance, and I look forward to hearing from you, Beth, on the particulars on this. But that's a great spread, and it's really cool, because when you're asking questions, I'm putting my focus and attention on you and the vibration. You're welcome, Beth, of what I'm asking. So, in other words, this was about money, and you saw the house show up in the Ten of Cups. If I lose my focus or distraction, then what happens is the cards would look weird. And there's times even at home when you guys have wanted me to read cards and then you start chit-chatting with the girls and I just stop because the cards don't come out right.
Don't start chit-chatting. What the heck are you talking about?
Much.
Don't do that.
All right, so Vanessa would like to see if that partner is in the future in the way she writes in her mental bank. And I know Sherry Clark in there. We'll do a spread for her too. And we're doing fine. We still have another 27 minutes on the show.
The cool thing about doing it live, we don't have anybody telling us what to do. So if we want to go a little longer, we can go a little longer. Not that we're going to, but if we wanted to.
Not that we're going to. Tomorrow's another day. Okay. Here we go. So this is for Vanessa, which regards to romance. All right. Okay, so Vanessa, for you, what came out first of all is the Five of Pentacles. So the first thing is, what you have to do is put distractions behind you that have to do with work and so on and so forth. And also that it's very interesting because the Five of Pentacles gives the impression of a person being left out in the cold, so to speak. And so don't worry about missed opportunities or anything that didn't work out. Now, covering this, we have the Four of Swords, which is the person lying there, and these things are sort of hanging over their head. So in other words, don't worry about it, but you can meditate on it. All right. All right. In the past, relationships that you've had, this is the Eight of Cups, and it's not as good as the Nine of Cups, but you see that there's an empty space here, like there should be 9 cups in the picture. So in other words, relationships you've had in the past were close, but not good enough, okay? Recently, you are very, very, recent past, very under the influence of work scenarios and bosses, and, you have to let that go. This is in the past. In your attitude, your attitude. So you're the High Priestess. So now you're learning to think more highly of yourself.
Yay.
Going forward, in the immediate, you have the Magician, which means that all the elements are on that table, meaning the wand, the sword, the chalice, and the pentacle. So the elements are beginning to brew, okay? And you also, when you're talking about how you affirm in your mental bank, that means that the magic of your mind is beginning to work also. Now, in your psyche, you have the Ten of Pentacles, which is the Have It All card. So in other words, as you aspire to, success, there is the relationship and the castle and all that. So as you're writing in your mental bank and you're affirming your abundance, it's going to affect you in all aspects of your life. Coming from the outside, you have other people's influence. You have the Nine of Pentacles, which is abundance, but it's also the gestation period, meaning that as you continue to work on yourself, this would indicate that in about 9 months or so, that what you're asking about romance would be coming into your life. All right, in your hopes and fears, the Knight of Swords, fear of abandonment. Mm-hmm. All right, they come and they go. All right.
Why bring them in if they're going to go? Get rid of that one.
And they're also, the Knight of Swords is somewhat immature. And also, you don't need someone to rescue you. All right. So in the outcome, we have the Page of Pentacles, which is, being open to listen to your inner self so that you can continue to attract what you want. So continue to put your focus and attention on the affirmations that you're doing in your ledger every night, because it is beginning to work. And you're going to see soon that things that you've been writing in your book are going to come out. And that's, you'll have these moments soon where it's, dang, that really happened. So keep your eye on that.
We see that all the time, by the way. We see that all the time with our clients. They come in, they have whatever going, they start using tools, they start using like the mental bank and different things like that. And thank you.
Yep.
And when they're using those tools, there's a period of time of getting in the flow with it. And, when you get into quantum physics, it's like you're thinking, you're feeling, you're creating. And it's so fun for us when you all have those moments where you do have that love of your life, or you have that new job that's got all the money coming in, or whatever that thing is that you have set your intention on, when you're matching those intentions, we're thrilled for you, and it's really what makes our job so valuable, right?
Yep, it's true. So we had, and I want to go back. Sherry Clark said, "I'm always interested in my family boys and interested in my health and struggling with back issues." Okay, so one thing, if you're struggling with back issues, then stop worrying about everybody that's like in a circus, standing on your shoulders and someone on their shoulders and someone standing on their shoulders. Okay, let everybody live their life.
Nick and I teach a class called Healthy Mind, Healthy Body, and it gets into the metaphysical anatomy. It gets into the body syndromes. And many times I'll have clients in my office, I know you do as well, where they have whatever physical ailment that's going on. And when we're looking at the underlying cause, what that thing is emotionally, mentally, and then they're able to take that information and change it. Like Nick just said, when we have back problems, it's various reasons for it. And then you do the work around that, you literally can heal your body in various ways. So it's part of it going to the doctor, but there's a part of it doing your own mental work. So with that, how would you put that in a nutshell and say put your attention on?
That you're healthy and everyone around you is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be simplified. You have to know that everyone is okay. All right, this is for Sherry, for doing another general. Okay, so the first card that comes out for Sherry is, the the Four of Swords. See, so here she is, and I know that Sherry has 3 sons. All right. And so the concern about those 3 sons are hanging over her. So this card confirms exactly what Audrey and I were just talking about. You're lying there under the auspices of what hangs over you.
And there's those 3. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. That's perfect.
Exactly. And also, here is the Hierophant, who is a very revered, respected person who is an expert in their field, and there's a little bit to this in what the Hierophant represents, or the Hierophant does things in very traditional ways. There's a little bit in this, in advice or things that she would say to her sons, or they're adults, they're not little kids. What would my father do in this situation? That's part of it for Sherry. Now, in the past, all right, there had been a new beginning for her, and this is some time ago, a new beginning with work that would have been, a fresh start. In the recent past, we have the Justice card, which means things do go the right direction. It's sort of a victory. But the Justice card also means that things need to be balanced too in life. In the above her head, we have, in her attitude, we have the Knight of Pentacles, which means that there's a part to her that still wants to move on to something better than status quo. In the future, you get the Six of Wands, which is the victory parade.
Hey.
And 6s have to do with health. So there's something, it's so funny when you look at, they're not swords, they're wands, but this card tells me that you would be wise to see someone, like an acupuncturist or someone like that.
Michael McGuire is pretty great. He's right over here.
Then we have, in her psyche, we have the Sun, and we know the Sun represents new beginnings. And that's also vitality, revitalization, okay? Also, this also means, because we are talking about your health, the sun literally is good for you to get be
maybe
in the sun.
Maybe the sun at the beach with the negative ions. A A good relaxing in the sand.
Now, from the outside, we have the Eight of Swords, which is mental imprisonment. So, Sherry, you have to look at what you perceive that is holding you back from moving forward, okay? In your hopes and fears, you have the Page of Swords. Now, that's the card of self-deception, okay? So check on how you're thinking about this. And then in the outcome, we have the Six of Swords, which is moving away from difficulty. I think that part of this for Sherry is ultimately there is some kind of move here involved, because that Six of Swords, when you look at the card closely, you can see on one side the water is choppy, on the other side it's very smooth. So you're moving away from the rough into the smooth. So there is a change that's coming, Sherry, that will allow you less worry. But you have, in the 10 cards that I threw, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are swords, which is a lot of mentality. And then the Justice card, which is a part of the Major Arcana, has a sword in his hand. So there's way too much on your mind, is the best way to put it. So a little chill out would be good.
And there's a part of it for us as parents, and I know a lot of parents right now are really looking at, the stress of what's going on for their kids. And there's a part of it where it would be normal and it's natural for us to look at it and be concerned for them. And I got to say, for all of us with the kids, that's where they own their power, is when they go through these really, really challenging times.
Sure.
And we have to keep trusting and having faith in their ability to own their power to work through it. So super important to look at that. And there's a boat analogy that goes along with that, if you ever want to call me sometime, Sherry.
Yep. Sherry, thanks for that. You're welcome. And get in touch with me. I'm here. All right. Who are we going to give some good information to next? And by the way, the cards don't just give good news. It's a matter of this is how the cards come out. I can't manipulate the cards. If there's something challenging in here, I'm going to tell you, because when I did the spread on the United States of America, there's definitely some challenges in there that we're going to look at.
So we have Mary Pat, who is saying, do you see a large promotion for me? Is this the right path? So would that be where you use that?
Okay. So back at you, Sherry.
Yeah, Sherry.
This is where we will do the pyramid spread, because this is a different kind of reading. And so the question is it a good idea for Mary Pat to expect a large promotion? And if so, when? Okay?
Isn't this fun?
Mm-hmm. All right. Here we go. So the first card out, this is for Mary Pat, is the King of Wands, okay? Now, the king is an executive. He's fair-minded, but he's very passionate about what he does, and he's a very fair leader. So the first thing is, Mary Pat, there's someone that you will be talking to who is the decision maker, okay? Now, the next card, and what happens is, instead of the Celtic cross, the spread, there's a top card, then two, and then another 2. And I'll describe what each position represents. So the next card that comes out is the current circumstances for Mary Pat. Okay? Had enough of the current job, Mary Pat.
I love it when that happens.
So, yeah, the Eight of Swords is mental imprisonment. That showed up in Sherry's, but in different contexts.
I don't know if it's the right path. Am I on the right path?
Well, and it's also, but blinded by one's own, fears or what gets in the way, okay? Or that card, it could mean for her too, that, currently she's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
All right? Okay, then, outside influences. We have the Queen of Cups. Now, the Queen of Cups is a very loving woman. She plays into emotions. And this is someone who this woman has an influence on the upside of the question that you're asking, okay? And this is someone that, if this is someone you know this to be like a lighter, fair-haired woman that you work with or is some kind of advisor to you, you'd want to listen to what she's saying. All right. Now.
Absolutely, he is called the Kingmaker.
Wow, that's funny. Okay, so the next card that comes out is called the Problem. Okay. So the problem is the Seven of Cups, and this card has a lot to do with brain drain. Okay. So the problem is you have to figure out what you want. Do you know what you want? Or are there too many choices? The Seven of Cups is a lot of choices, and it's going in a lot of different directions. Now, the next card is called the Solution. We like that card. All right, so the solution is the Three of Wands. Now, this is kind of hard to see, but down in the bottom, what's happening is that this man is standing on a cliff and looking way out, and this is water out here, and there's boats there. But he's holding on to one of the wands, and there's two behind him that he can't see. So in the solution, this card, the Three of Wands, means that you have choices, all right? But you only see one path. And when this man in the card is up, on the cliff looking out at the boats in the water, you only know from the phraseology that you're waiting for your ship to come in. But there is another deck of cards that is the reverse angle of these. And in that deck, when you're looking at this man in the picture from the front, you see a wagon train coming up behind him. So while you, Mary Pat, may be looking this way, there's stuff back there that you don't see yet. So if not by sea, by land. All right. So then we have the Four of Pentacles, which means that you're stable. You are stable where you are. All right.
What's this position?
This is, we're getting into the outcome now. This is near term. Okay. The near term outcome is you're okay where you are. All right. See, in the card, he's got 2 feet on pentacles. He's got one in his lap, and he's got one above his head. So this is okay. It's not huge abundance, but it's all right. Okay? Now, as we move forward in the outcome, there's the Page of Wands, which means that there is news that's coming down the road that is very exciting, and it restores passion. So the bottom line on this reading for you, Mary Pat, is that down the road, there is something that's coming your way. But in the meantime, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. So this is not a time to just arbitrarily quit a job or get upset for what's not happening fast enough, but to hang in there for a bit, because there is news that you're looking for months down the road. Okay?
Love it.
Yep, exactly. And that man that showed up as the King of Wands, yes, he is the decision maker. And since he showed up in your reading, that's a big indicator, because I've been doing cards for decades now, that ultimately the answer to her question is yes. You're welcome.
Yay, good news. We had one more from Gloria, if Laura is going to find the love of her life. I think that's what she had asked.
Yes, and that's her daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be more like, can we expect Laura to have...
No, we have to go back to the cross for this.
I need to know these things. That's why I don't do this. Thank you, Sherry.
All right, so we focus our attention on Laura.
By the way, while he's shuffling, if you all have So we're kind of expanding a little bit more, and we're doing things just a little bit differently, like having Nick do more reading kind of things, more metaphysical things that he does. Like I think we'll have another night where we do the I Ching, and we'll have a night where we just play with the various forms of the metaphysical modalities that he does. But if there's something that you're interested in for us to do, drop us a line and let us know what you'd like.
Sure. And this summer, I will be teaching. I haven't taught I Ching for a couple years. I will, since we were upstairs. So I will be teaching I Ching again. And it is fabulous.
So we'll have a night with that as we get closer to it.
Yep.
But if there's anything that you're interested in, we're planning at this moment. And we're planning on bringing in some really fabulous guests too.
Yes, like we said, next week is Michelle Guzzi, fellow hypnotherapist. 2 weeks from now is Dr. Kimberly Bennett, a doctor of natural medicine, who is quite amazing herself. Yeah, so down the road, Golden Arrow. So, yeah, a lot of great guests coming. Okay, so this is for Laura, Gloria's daughter. And she's got the 8 of Wands, which is a travel card. And it's also success. But it looks to me that what's going on here is that Laura has to sort of settle down. It looks like she's been on the move a lot.
I wouldn't doubt that a bit.
Sherry's asking about where she can find info about classes that we're doing. Watch your email, because I don't put the whole thing up way in advance.
And also, you can always go to newmontcenter.net, and you can go to Meetup and go to Newmont Center there.
Okay, so I just got done saying that Laura may have been on the move, and so then we get the 6 of Swords, which means there's something that, for her, where she's been on the go, so she needs to sort of stop and make the time to settle down or settle in so she can have love in her life. Underneath her in the distant past, we have the Ace of Pentacles, which is there was some kind of new cycle of money or abundance in her life. And so this is all part of, what's been going on with her. So now what's happened is in the recent past, we have the 10 of Swords card, which is a very foreboding card because the person on the ground is stabbed in the back with 10 different swords, which means that something has really throttled them. But you see up here, this is black, but this black is moving this way, and here's the light. And so with this card, even though it's very foreboding, we also have it's always darkest before the dawn, all right? And this has to do with her letting go of her old ways of how she's been doing things and how she's handled relationships, all right?
And would that also be like letting go of a past relationship that she might still be holding on to?
Yeah, old pain, old grief,
yeah.
Definitely. All right, now, in her attitude, we have the Temperance card, and this is, you can see the angel is pouring from one chalice to another. 1 foot is on the land, 1 foot is on the water. This is the ultimate patience card, the Temperance card, and balancing emotions, all right? In the immediate future, we have the Strength card. Well, the woman in the picture, uses her strength in a loving way. So she tames the lion by petting it, not by trying to be a lion tamer and beating it, okay? So for Laura going forward in dealing with relationship, she has to take a new approach, all right?
Maybe be softer.
And not try to control, okay? Now, in her psyche, so this is funny, in her attitude, we have the Temperance card. In her psyche, we've got the Hanged Man, all right? Mm-hmm. So again, this is another message of patience and hang in there. And outside influences, we have the Knight of Swords, which means that somebody is just going to ride into her life, all right? And so this is the kind of thing that she won't see coming, all of a sudden the guy just shows up, all right? And he'll be different than anyone she's ever been with before because the Knight of Swords rides into the wind, okay? Not with the wind. All right.
That's good news.
In her hopes and fears, she has the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is a clock. So her big issue, and this is a question that Merlin doesn't like, she wants to know when. Is it ever going to happen? Is it ever going to happen? And Merlin says, put your focus and attention on manifesting what you want, not when it's going to happen. And then ultimately, she has the King of Pentacles. Ugh. So in other words, what in reality that Laura, even though she's not an older woman, she's a younger woman, ultimately she needs a mature, stable guy that can allow her to feel secure, but at the same time, not a sugar daddy. And there's sort of a fine line in there. But she is better off with a more mature guy, not a contemporary. All right? And so this is, will she find it? Yes, but he's going to be different than what she's been before, and she has to be patient with the process. Okay? So we have hit, it's 8 o'clock.
How does this time go so fast?
And what's
so now that we're here, we have a whole full hour instead of 50 minutes.
Yes.
So we're going to be back here again next week at 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. We're going to be on Facebook Live. We'll be sending out notices for it.
Tell your friends.
Really appreciate, yes, tell your friends. We're looking to build things up a bit. And we're going to be creating a lot more interactive, fun nights. So,
definitely.
Anything else?
Well, no, and then you have your group Thursday night.
So it's going to be on Zoom, so you can go to Meetup, see an invite there. There's also a Meetup on, an invite on Facebook on Newmont Center. And I'm going to have Lisa White, and there's a possibility that she might want to do a few readings as well. Lisa is extremely intuitive, and she's restarting her business. She'd taken a bit of a break with things, and she is going gangbusters. And her and I, we talked a couple weeks ago. I'll be reposting that, what we spoke about a few weeks ago, and who knows what we're going to talk about on Thursday night, but I think it's going to be really interesting. So it's a $20 donation if you're able, and we'll see you there via Zoom.
Wonderful. And I think for me, and some of you, I will see you Saturday at the Vision Board class.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
There's still a few spots open for that, right?
Yep, there are. So if you have questions about the Vision Board class, give us a call.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for watching us here on Facebook Live. Mainstream Metaphysics is alive and well right here with all of you. And it's fun doing this with you, as always.
Next week, I won't be here. It'll be Michelle and Nick. So
She'll be
you
my
guys
co-host.
Chime in.
All right. Thanks so much, everyone.
You have a great week, too, Kim.
Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.
Welcome.
See you next week.
Bye,
Good night,
guys.
everyone.